Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Mr. M in the building. Today, we are going to look at how to make sound decisions. I hope you guys are having a good time. So, let's get to it. How to make sound decisions. So, it's Mr. M, like I said, and I'm a motivational speaker, I'm a life coach, I'm all the things about becoming the best version of yourself. And I'm obviously a personal development fanatic, people builder. I love the young people and I want to see them succeed and not make the mistakes that I've made. But it's enough about me. Let's get to the lesson. So, how do I make sound decisions? Well, the first thing is you need to hang around smart people and ask for their opinion. So you need to talk it out with someone. If you're planning on making a decision, you need to talk it out with someone whose perspective on many issues is quite informed, particularly if they've faced a similar decision in their own life. A person with a good sense of judgment and intelligence. So when you hang around smart people, you have the benefit of getting their perspectives. Smart people are also good because they're going to expose you to information. They're going to make you read and explore in depth the decision that you're about to make. And also, they're going to teach you something. So they are a great source of wisdom and a great source of information. The next point is if you're looking to make sound decision is a sound decision is to do your research. You have to gather all the information to make a more informed choice. And part of the process of making an informed choice is that you're going to go online. You can use YouTube. Sometimes you can use get articles on a particular subject, whatever it is that is related to actually your decision. You will be able to get access to that information. You can research and review also others who have made the same decision, right? And what were the outcomes regarding the decisions that they made. And this will help you as well make a more informed decision. It's also important to say that by gathering the information, you're also looking to weigh out the pros and cons of, like you want to be able to get all the information and then evaluate the information. So you gather it, then you're going to evaluate the information, looking at the pros and cons of the information. So, for example, if you want to get married, you're going to search on topics such as when to say I do. You're going to search on topics like what it takes to make a happy marriage or a good marriage. You're going to search on topics like the reasons why people divorce. You're going to look for statistics that support or don't support marriage so that you have a well-rounded view before you get into it, before you decide that this is the direction that I want to take. You have to also know the pitfalls and you also have to know the positives, and gathering the information is what will allow you to do so. Now, the third one is you need to get expert advice. I'm a big fan of Napoleon Hill's work. I've read loads and loads of his stuff. He was a popular personal development speaker in the early 1950s. And one of the things he says is that we tend to have a problem where when we are looking to make a decision, we tend to ask our family members, and yet sometimes it's better to actually ask somebody who is an expert in the area that you're looking to make the decision in. So this will help you if you can get expert advice. I mean, their career guidance counselors, business consultants, fitness trainers, they are mentors, they are coaches. There's such a wide range of experts and consultants in a variety of areas that can help you specific to what it is that you want to achieve. So, for example, if you want to learn the Bible, you consult a pastor. If you want to know uh, about a particular country that you're looking to travel to, you can consult your embassy. If you want to start a business, you can actually talk to a business consultant or a person who's actually running that a particular business that is in line with the one that you want to set up. If you want to find out about what career steps to take, you can go to career guidance expos. If you want to go to a particular university or a series like you're trying to decide which university to go to, you can consult the university, the various universities, to see what they have on offer, and is it in line with whatever career pursuits that you have. So there's always a way around it. So if you're going to make a good decision, you also need to get expert advice. Now, the fourth point is that if you're going to make a good decision, or if you're looking to make a good decision, it's also important to slow down the decision making process. So don't make snap decisions, off the cuff decisions. Don't make rash decisions, because those can be very, very, very costly. Allow your thoughts to, the whole process to just stew in the whole process. Think about it. Take your time. Don't rush it. Give yourself adequate time. It's hard to think clearly, and sometimes, usually, the first thing that comes to your mind, the first decision or the first idea, sometimes usually isn't the best option for you. So you need to give yourself the chance to sit on a problem for a while, so that you can process your options, work out your options thoroughly, so that when you say, this is the decision I'm making, you are very, very, very confident in that particular decision. For example, the minute someone angers you at work, there you go, I quit my job. It's not always necessarily the time for you to immediately pack and leave the company. Or, for instance, you make a snap judgment where you decide to marry somebody without taking the time to know them in different scenarios and in different situations. And you haven't assessed how they behave in front of adults, how they behave in front of kids, how they behave in general, how do they treat people. You haven't assessed their family background. You haven't even checked if they've got a criminal record. You haven't given it time, and you've just rushed. You've just made an emotional decision, of which there are consequences too. So it's very, very important to wait. Don't rush. Wait until you're not emotionally pumped up by anything, and you're thinking clearly and logically. And then, you can assess the situation with the right perspective, draw your conclusions, then make the decision, knowing that I've made the best decision for myself. Whether the outcomes will come in your favor or not, the fact is, you have done everything possible to make sure that you're making a decision with a clear head. The fifth point is, to make a sound decision, you're definitely going to need to weigh out the pros and cons. Weigh the pros and cons. Always weigh out the pros and cons in your mind. Let them play in your mind. Play a variety of scenarios in your mind, and the possible consequences of those decisions as you make them, as you play them in your mind. So making a decision can result in different outcomes, and not all of them may be obvious. That's why you have to play it in your mind, to really process it in your mind. What if I do this? What is the likely outcome? If I do that, what are the pros and cons of making this decision? Each decision, always, you have to list the pros and cons of each decision, and then compare the two. So when considering each option, don't just list the positives and negatives as well. Make sure that you write down the likely consequences of making that particular decision. So if I take this option, what is going to be the likely outcome? If I take this decision, what's the likely outcome, positive and negative outcomes? And then you are able to then make a decision after having compared all the various options pertaining to that particular thing that particular decision that you need to make. So that's point 5. Now let's go on to point 6. Point 6 is test the waters. You have to test the waters. Most of our software programs, like on our laptops and so on, if you notice, if you download them, let's say you want to buy software, even online, they always give you a trial period. Whether it's animation software, graphic software, you name it, 99% of them will say, look, we're going to give you a 30-day trial, a 2 weeks trial, whatever it is. Why are they doing that? They're doing that because they want you to test the waters. They want you to test the waters, go around, have a feel for the software, and before you make the actual purchase. And therefore, when you make the purchase now, you've made a purchase which is a little bit informed, which is informed by that period where you were testing and sampling the software. So uh, when you're looking to make a sound decision, it's important to test the waters. For example, when you buy a car, before you buy a car, usually the norm is you're going to take it for a test drive. That's testing the waters. You're taking it for a trial drive so that you can feel how it performs, to check performance. Is it a perfect fit with you? How does it feel? Is it steady on the road? Is the engine in good nick? And so on and so on. You're testing the waters. Or, for example, if you're considering becoming a business person, like for instance, you want to become a farmer, you want to become a farmer. So what would you do? You can consider going to spend some time in a farm. You ask those who are already actively farming to allow you the opportunity to spend 2 weeks or 3 weeks just absorbing the way they do their things, learning and absorbing what is life like for a farmer, because then that gives you insight. You are testing the waters. You wake up in the morning, you go and plant with them. You wake up in the morning, you go and spray with them. You wake up in the morning, you do the weeding with them and the tilling of the land with them. And then after having gone through that experience, you're able to say, do I really want to be a farmer? You're able to draw that conclusion and say, yes, definitely, I think I need to get into farming. Or no, I don't want to get into farming. So you need to test the waters, and it can be on any issue. You try as much as you can to find a way to test the waters before diving in. Diving into the deep end. You don't want to dive into the deep end. That's why to test the waters, you might want to just try the shallow end first to see whether the water is warm enough or cool enough, etc., etc., before you get into the deep end. Otherwise, you might drown. You might drown from a decision that you have made. It can be anything. Like, for instance, if you want to get into law, you might want to be an intern. You might volunteer to work in a law firm so that you can just have a feel to see, is this the area that I really, really want to take? Because sometimes we assume that we want to achieve something and yet we really don't want that thing, so that's it. And the last point is you need to make sure you test the waters. Sorry, not test the waters, I beg your pardon. You need to count the cost. Consider, what is the cost of my decision? Should I take this decision? What is the cost? When you decide to build a house, which is something that is stated also in the Bible, but this is not a Bible lesson. When you decide to build a house, you start by counting the cost. Otherwise, you'll be shocked when you fail to build the house, because now there are some monetary requirements that you hadn't thought about. You thought it would be A, B, C, D, and now suddenly there's need for more cement, there's need for more tiling and tiles and so on and so on. So you really need to, because you didn't budget, you didn't count the cost. You need to count the cost at the get-go so that there are no surprises and you are clear that you'll be able to finish. Your decision will have the positive outcome that you're looking for. So in the Bible, for instance, Judas failed to count the cost of his decision to betray Jesus. After he betrays Jesus, what happens? It suddenly dawns on him that he made the wrong decision. And the weight of the decision, the concept is so heavy on him that no amount of money that was given to him can compensate for that, because it's now dawning on him that he was not willing to count that cost. He was not willing to sacrifice he was not willing to sacrifice Jesus, to betray Jesus to the extent that he thought he was, and what does he do? He goes on to kill himself. It's because he didn't count the cost. Because if he counted the cost, from the get-go, he would have said, no, I can't do this. But he didn't really count the cost that once I do this, and once Jesus is crucified, how will I feel? How will it make me feel? Is it the right thing? He didn't count the cost. So in your decision-making process, make sure you count the cost. That's all, everybody. Thank you so much. I hope you've enjoyed this session. It's Mr. M, Personal Development Basics. Make sure you like, you share. I'm on YouTube, Mr. M's Personal Development. I'm on Facebook, Mr. M's Personal Development Basics. I am also on Instagram at He is Mr. M, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. That's all, folks. See you soon.